Hello and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Yvonne. And today I am very excited. I'm excited to do this interview because he's not a new guest on the show. He's been on the show before, during the lockdown when we were in two different venues. And this time around I decided, no, I need to come to your house. I need to talk to you at your house. I'm talking about a man who recently at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifying in Bulawayo was named the player of the tournament, Sikander Raza. I call him National Treasure. I also call you Sawi. Sikander, we have to talk about Bulawayo first. How's it now? How is it? Because I could see from the pictures, the fans, the support, and the results that came. How was the tournament for you?
I think the right word that I'm looking for is relieved. I think people are excited, people are happy, and I can understand why. For me, I'm just relieved. Things we're not going to talk about is the previous qualifier, but I think we took the pain of that previous qualifier and the lessons from that, and we wanted to make sure that those heartbreaks do not happen ever again for Zimbabwe. So we took a lot of pressure, we took a lot of expectations, and rightly so. Those comes with playing for your country anyway. So yeah, I think I'm just relieved. I'm happy it's gone the way we wanted it to go. The personal accolades come after the fact that we became champions. I'm happy with that. The fact that we're going to Australia, I'm happy with that. And yes, we cannot finish this answer without mentioning the fans. I tell you, Friday and Sunday was packed. I have never seen Queens like that. It was packed. I think I commented as well. I think Bulawayo crowd brought fire in very cold conditions.
Very cold conditions. But when you come out now and you see the crowd and it's a semi-final, it's a final, the pressure, doesn't it get worse? Because now you're thinking there's all this expectation, and when you look at even the teams that we're playing against, a lot of people look at it as, oh, these are minnows. For you as a player, coming out and seeing that crowd, how does it help you, or how does it pressurize you?
I think the good thing about Zimbabwean crowd is they don't generally tend to turn their backs on you. So even though when the chips are down, there's continuous singing, there's continuous dancing, there's support, there's chants of your name, of Zimbabwe. There's always something happening, and that can lift your spirit up. So yes, when they're singing in numbers, it adds to pressure, but isn't that great? I rather them be there than not be there. And I don't believe in this word minnows or associates, because the fact that all of these countries have T20 status. People say Zimbabwe has test status. I get that. Maybe that pressure should be when we play these countries in a test match, because we are a test nation and maybe we should beat them because we have more experience in test cricket. Or if these countries do not have ODI status, if you play them in an ODI, it's a different thing again. Maybe we should beat them. But the fact that all of these countries have T20 international status, and they actually play T20 internationals a lot more than us because they only play one format. So they're actually a lot more experienced. But it's a conversation that I think people don't tend to understand. They just sometimes live in that, but we are the test nation.
Yes. But we talk about this moment, we talk about getting to this point where you're representing the country. But let's go way back, because I know you were not born in the country.
Correct.
How did we get from, let's start from where you were born and when you started playing cricket.
Born in Pakistan. I didn't play much cricket in Pakistan. It was just a weekend sport for me. And I used to just watch my uncles play the sport. I was always into my studies, as I've said that. So I did my O-levels, A-levels in Pakistan. Then I came here in 2002. Then I went back to finish my second year of A-levels in Pakistan. Came back again in 2003. And then left for UK.
When you were coming here, was it because your family was here?
Yeah, my family migrated. So my father had businesses in Zimbabwe. So he wanted to come and have a look. And he ended up saying, you know what, maybe it's worth to bring family over and actually settle down here. It was never a planned cricket move. I was never a cricketer. For me, education was my only goal at that time. And then I went to the UK, and I was doing my college and university there, and I started playing club cricket. And that's when I said to my father that I had a very good UK season. Maybe I would like to try 1 year in cricket here. And I joined MASH Eagles B, and I remember as clear as a daylight that I was going nowhere with MASH because my performances were awful. They were awful. And while I was having some throwdowns, Givon Marconi was watching me, the current MD for Zimbabwe Cricket, was watching me from far, and he called me and he said, tomorrow there's a net session at 9 o'clock in Mashwingo for Southern Rocks. You make it on time, I will consider you for Stanbic. That was the only conversation he had with me.
So you probably saw something in that moment that probably at that time you also didn't realize.
I didn't know. I thought, listen, I'm going nowhere with Mash B. Stanbic is an opportunity. I'm practically going for trials. If I do well in the warm-up games for Southern Rocks and given the opportunity, even at that time I was never thinking about making the franchise or A or academy or national team. For me, it was another opportunity to give my trials. So I thought, all right, Mash is looking full of players anyway, and I haven't done performances in B, so maybe I'll take this opportunity. So I did the morning prayers, left Harare at 5, made the training session, and here we are.
Here we are. But when did the decision happen? Did you have to make a decision? Were you pressured into the decision? Was there a conversation for you to then realize, you know what, I can actually play for Zimbabwe? Because I'm trying to understand how, if you're coming in and you're not born in the country, what is the process like for you to get to a point where you can play for the national team?
So, because I had a resident permit at that time, so legally I'm allowed to play in the country, not for the country. So I finished my education first. I remember graduating in 2009. I came home, did that with the Southern Rocks, and I'm contemplating, do I go back and do my masters as well, because I've just done the bachelor's, I've done the BSc software engineering. Do I go and do MSc as well, master in software engineering, master in computing, and this opportunity. So now I'm thinking, do I go back or should I take on this opportunity? So then Zimbabwe Cricket tried to speed up the process for me to be Zim qualified, which didn't happen because the country law is that you have to be a resident of a country for 10 years before you can represent your country. So then that opportunity, that time was completed in 2013, and Zimbabwe Cricket was waiting for my time period to be completed. I had all my papers ready, my documents ready. I remember Mr. Bund accompanying me to the passport office, Registrar General, submitted the documents, and they said yes, he's eligible. The next day I went with my father, paid the fees for the citizenship, got my ID, got my passport a day after, and I think 10 days after I made my debut.
So would you say your process was easy for you to get to the national team, or it was harder? Because I can imagine, yes, they've seen your talent, but was it an easy process?
I don't think it was easy or harder. It was a process that if anybody else wants to qualify for Zimbabwe who's not born here has to do. There's no exemptions here. You have to do 10 years in the country and then be eligible to represent the country if the country chooses you to. So I wouldn't say it was easy or hard. It was just a process that I had to go through.
And when you look back at that decision, I think it's probably a very obvious question, but when you look back at that decision, do you regret making that decision?
Oh, none. There's no decisions I've made in life that I regret. No, I'm very blessed, very grateful. I always say that in pecking order of things, I'll always be grateful for the country to accept me as one of their own, then to Zimbabwe Cricket to give me an opportunity as a cricketer, and to the people of Zimbabwe who accepted me as their own and supported and loved me.
But how has it been like, because obviously majority of the team is Christian.
Yeah.
You are from a different religion.
Yeah.
I've seen you at matches, you always make sure if your time to pray it's your time to pray, you get your mat, you pray, even if there is no building, you go on the side of the tent. How has it been like adjusting to the different religion, because there are obviously certain things that happen that may be against your religion? We've seen a case where even in South Africa, Hashim Amla deciding he can't wear a certain logo because it's against his religion.
Yeah. So I don't think so. Before I answer that, there's never a time that anything has happened that's against my religion. There's always been times when players and management has been very respectful. If it's time for prayers and somehow I'm in the moment, there's always somebody to remind me if you have to, because it's a routine, and they'll be looking at me thinking, why is he not walking off the park now, because this is a time. Umpires, again, if I tell them, listen guys, it's time to pray, umpires are very respectful during the game as well, say please, whether it's a domestic game or international. I remember Castle was our main sponsor when I was first breaking into Southern Rocks, and I remember Givon Marconi, the same gentleman, was the MD of Southern Rocks at that time. And he asked, I think we were sponsored by Reebok. So my shirts came without the Casa logo or any other logo that I wasn't allowed to wear, which includes gambling or alcohol or anything like that. So from a very start, I think the organization as a whole has been very respectful towards my beliefs. We don't have to go too far. For example, the champagne celebration for the qualifiers final. So people said, Raza bhai, we'll give you a shout, you make your way out, because we're gonna, no problem. So I didn't even have to ask them. They were very like, Raza bhai, we'll give you a shout, please quickly get out of the way. So happy days. So I think there's never been a time, there's always been a lot of respect towards my faith and belief, and I've never ever found myself where people have disrespected myself because of my religion.
So we'll get more about Sikander Raza in the next segment. How it's been and what other stuff that he does outside playing cricket. Welcome back to Conversations with Yvonne, and today I'm talking to Sikander Raza, a national team all-rounder for cricket. And Raza, guys, you don't know this about Raza. Raza is the sticker king on WhatsApp. Like, you know, we can have an actual conversation of just stickers. Like, Raza, what's your phone like? How many stickers do you have in your phone approximately?
Yes. So I don't know how many are there, but I think sometimes a sticker is much better reply than actual words.
Are you a sticker collector? Can we call you a sticker collector?
No, I'm not a sticker collector, but if you send me something that I think I'll use it in future, I'll save it and then use it on others.
Because he's got like a sticker for everything. Like, there was one time I was laughing where we actually had a conversation of just stickers. Like
that is true, guys. I'm saying it on record. It's true.
But what do you like doing outside cricket? What do you like doing?
You know, I'm sure people figure it out. I'm a very private kind of person, so I feel like a lot of my life is on camera anyway. So I try not to give everything on camera or everything on social media. I like to keep few things for myself. So outside cricket, I'm a family guy. I just chill at home, relax, recover, do all the right things that would help me to be at my 100% tomorrow. I'm not a person who'll come home and then get busy with a lot of activities and then basically be tired for my session tomorrow. So I come home, eat well, rest well, drink well, spend time with family, switch off from cricket, so that when I go on the cricket field, I switch off from everything else and it's just cricket for me. Apart from that, there are a few charities that I'm part of. I try and do that. Apart from that, I play with my community members some golf and things like that here and there.
I know you do charity work, but you seem to have one particular girl that you... What's up with you and Juliana?
So what happened with Juliana? Juliana is an orphan and she couldn't speak. So I went to the orphanage for the very first time. And this girl, Juliana, started running towards me. She couldn't say, my name is Juliana. So she wanted to tell me her name. And I kept asking in Shona, but she couldn't. So she ran backwards. So I thought maybe she's shy and she's gone. She came back, wrote her name on a piece of paper and gave it to me. So Juliana couldn't talk because of whatever challenges she had as a kid. And from that day, me and Juliana found and had that bond. And she loves me, I love her. Every time I'm leaving, she's crying. Every time I get there, the first thing she does, she doesn't want anything from me. She gets into the car because she wants to come back with me. And then I have to say, Juliana, if you let me go, I have to bring this. And then if I go, I'll come back quickly, or I'm playing, I'm busy. She doesn't understand most of the things, but the whole staff at the CTT comes around Juliana. Juliana, let this guy go, he'll come back. And somehow then, okay, Juliana, I brought you clothes, food, shoes, toys, that. And then Juliana lets me go. So that's a bond between me and Juliana. And
because I think a lot of people that follow your social media would definitely understand, you know, what I'm talking about, the relationship that you seem to have with Juliana. And Raza, you're also one of those few sports people that really, really love to post, tell people what you're doing. Do you get reactions maybe from other players? Isn't this too much? Or aren't you posting too much? What are the things that you say, maybe this part of my life I will never expose to the rest of the world?
Yeah, so I spoke to a religious scholar. So in my religion, they say that if you do charity with your right hand, your left hand mustn't find out. Basically, to be that discreet. So before I got involved with a lot of charities, I spoke to the scholar and they said, yes, it is true, but some part of your responsibility also is to portray your religion in the right manner, what it tells you to. So what I decided, there are a few charities that you'll find out, but there's few projects that I do that you'll never find out. Nobody will ever find out. It's between me and the person maybe I'm doing the charity for or with, and Allah. So while people may say this is too much, I try and ignore them, because in my heart, they only know a little bit of what I decide to show them. The rest they don't know. So as much as there are 2-3 charities that people know, there's so many others that you don't know, which you'll never find out, which nobody will ever find out. It will remain close to me.
But what is the long-term dream for Raza? What do you want to do? Obviously, you're playing right now. What is the long-term dream?
You know, I think I'm living, not the dream, I think. This is something I didn't dream of. It's a lot better than a dream. So I try and live as each day as it comes by. I think when it comes to the charities, that's something that inshallah I'll never stop. If I'm earning less, so be it, I will spend less. If I earn more, so be it, I'll spend more. But whatever I earn or whatever Allah has given me, the charities will not stop, not for me anyway. It may be less, but it will always be there, inshallah.
But growing up in Pakistan and then now living in Zimbabwe, what are the differences? What's the one thing, or maybe when you first came, what were you like, okay, this is different, okay?
I think the language, as much as we study English, but when I was growing up, we didn't really speak English in our school, colleges, universities. So the first barrier was, as much as I knew how to speak English, how to speak the language, I was very shy to speak. So I think that was the language barrier was the first. But then I started emphasizing, then I went to university to a place where English was the first language. So that helped when I came back, that helped. The culture was different. So I tried to learn the culture rather than say, all right, it's different, it's not for me. So that's why you see me getting involved with a lot of cultural activities so that I can continuously learning about the culture. The food, of course. While I was used to the chapatis, the rice and the curries. So when I got to Africa, it was more of a braai, sadza, things like that. So that was different. And
so what's your favorite, like?
So I sent a picture to a friend of mine yesterday. Yesterday was Saza, Neamade and Kovo. So I had Saza, Neama and Kovo yesterday.
Okay. And how difficult has it been learning Shona? Because I know you speak a little bit of Shona, but it's not like pure Shona.
Yeah, it's not difficult because, for example, if we are having a conversation and you say something in Shona, I always ask you, so what does it mean? I try and remember as much as I can. I did the same thing when I went to Bangladesh as well. When they speak in their local language, if I don't understand, I'll try and ask. I'll try and get better, but I think my speed of getting better my speed of getting better is a lot better now because I'm playing cricket. So I'm in the changing room, I'm continuously asking questions. Okay, boys, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I may not be able to speak a sentence, but I would know a few words that if I say it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, make plans here and there so that people understand what I'm talking about.
So you came to Zimbabwe as a young man.
Oh.
So what's the family life like that? Do you have kids? Do you have a wife? What's your...
Yes, so I'm settled. I've got a boy and a girl now. So I'm settled as in come home, spend time with family. Mom and dad are here. My grandmother is here as well visiting us, so I try and spend time with her. My uncle has also brought his family over as well, so we have now 2 families. So I try and stick with my families and stuff.
Your son plays cricket?
He plays. I think this is what I keep telling my friends. I'm a Pakistani-born African. He is an African, so he plays all the sports. He plays soccer, cricket, hockey. I think he's into swimming as well now. So yeah, he plays all the sports.
So getting to know a little bit about Sikander Raza and his family. And in the next segment, we'll continue with his story. Get to know a little bit about the man that, don't be fooled, very reserved today. One of the loudest you're going to find on the cricket pitch. Welcome back to Conversations with Yvonne. It's the last segment as we hear the story of Sikander Raza. And Raza, you are loud. You're like me. Are there times you're just like, Sikander, chill?
Yeah, I think because I rest a lot, I think I've got a lot of energy for my cricket. So I'm quite loud on the cricket park if need be, full of energy. If I'm not loud, I'm full of energy, things like that. So that when I leave that park, I've given everything I had. And now I can just chill and relax.
So we're talking about the positivity of fans in Bulawayo,
Yep.
but we've had moments, especially at our sports club from the Castle Corner, where things are not going well and players start getting insulted. How is it like in the changing room after, let's say, you've had a game where certain players have been picked and it's very easy for everybody to hear what's being said about certain players?
Yeah, so I've been blessed in a way that I don't think so I've been abused much. But if a player is getting abused, so I'll try and go to the ropes myself, and what people don't see on the camera, I try and speak to the fans and says this is not on. And most of the times, believe it or not, they're a lot more respectful to my request, and if I tell them this is not on and you can't do that, they calm down. And sometimes, you'll always find people who says no, this is not on, he's doing this, but you can't have a confrontation when you're playing because your focus is on the game. So what I'll try and move a player from the rope and field where he's getting a lot of abuse from, and try and hide him somewhere else or put him somewhere else where he may be safe, so that I feel like, one, as a senior guys, I protect him, and two, if he still has to bowl, bat, then at least all that he's hearing, he can filter it down and not be affected too much by it. But yes, it happens, and I think these are the things we have to live with. These are the perks or things that comes with being a professional national sports person.
But have you had moments where somebody's lost us a game or somebody's done something silly? Do you react? Do you get angry? Because I've seen players throw the bat.
I don't get angry on the players. I get angry on myself a lot. So yes, I've lost it a lot of times in the changing room. Not as much on the park. Maybe once or twice on the park, but most of the times in the changing room, I'm a lot more angry on myself, letting the team and myself down, than anyone else for that matter.
But when you're then angry, are you the sort of player that wants people to leave you alone? Because I've noticed there are different sort of players when you go out, especially for batters, when they go out, maybe it's a duck or it's less than 10 runs. Some get there, they get chatty, but some just sit in the corner. They don't want to talk. What sort of player are you after things don't go well?
Or leave me alone. Or if you come and speak to me, it's not the right time.
Are you a cursor?
You have to be in the changing room to find that, but I think I am. I think leave me alone, give me my time and space. There's a lot of emotions going on, and at that time the best thing to do is to stay quiet, because you also don't want to hurt your mate's feeling, and he may be coming with the right intentions, but I think everybody understands who needs what. For example, if Craig gets out, we can get to him quickly, and he's a calm guy as well. He'll still be angry, but he'll understand that you're there for him. On the other hand, I'm a guy who wants to be left alone. You leave me alone and I will come to you. I will take my time. As much as I'm angry, I also respect the fact that somebody out there is fighting for the team and for the mess that I've created. So I try and get out of my emotions quickly, but for the time that I'm going through my emotions, you leave me alone.
And when you look at Zimbabwe Cricket and the game and the relationship with fans, are there times where you feel maybe the expectations are higher? Like now, as we look forward to going on a series against Bangladesh, against Australia, against India, what do you want fans to think when they go to the match? Obviously, everybody wants to win, but when things don't go well, then all of a sudden, people start saying different things and cursing players. What would you like to say to fans, especially with the coming series?
Expect what you want. I think fans expect from us because we have shown them the quality that we have as a team. So I think they know that we can beat any team in our home conditions, and even away if we play a good brand of cricket. So I think we have shown them and given them enough hope and faith that yes, we can do it. When we don't do it, I think they get frustrated quickly. Listen, I don't think so I can ask too much from them because they come for us anyway. And sometimes buying that ticket or coming in cold weather conditions or hot conditions or whatever, or leaving your own problems behind just so that you can come and support the team, I'm not going to ask them anything. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to thank them for them being there with whatever expectations they come with. It's okay. but I just want to thank them for being there for us in difficult times and conditions for us anyway. So bring whatever expectations you have, and we try and fulfill those expectations.
And who are your friends when we talk in the cricketing world? Because obviously we'd want to know, who does Raza hang out with in the team?
Craig. Also because Craig and my journey started pretty much at the same time at Southern Rocks. So we go a long, and plus we were sharing a house as well. We were staying together, so we go a long way back, and I mean long way back. Timson Maruma I'm very close to, Chamuchi Baba, because he was with Southern Rocks, so I used to open the batting with him, so we had a great chemistry among ourselves. BT is also one, PJ one, Chamu I've mentioned. So in the country, I think these are the cricketers, because if you notice there, most of them are senior cricketers as well, and we share a lot of our journeys together. So that's why I'm actually close to these guys a lot more than I am to others, but I think I'm approachable by everyone.
And you're a prankster. So Raza, during the qualifier, Raza, it was Craig, right?
It was Reggie.
It was, no, I mean, it was you, Craig, and who did the prank on Reggie.
It was me and Craig, yes.
Him and Craig. So they recorded this. They told Reggie that we're going for golf. So Reggie puts on his clothes and everything, is ready, he's by his car, waiting to go to the golf. And then they recorded him, telling him that there's no golf. And you can see Reggie now walking. Like, do you do that a lot, pranking on each other?
Yeah, I think we were in a good space of mind. We were relaxed, even though Reggie was upset with me for a day. But I think eventually he was laughing as well. He was happy. That was a good prank. And then what people don't see, or what people didn't know, was, so on the finals day, so Craig was called upon for the ceremony, for the captain's remark, winning captain remark. So I said, Reggie, you're the vice captain, you follow, because they're serving medals. And Craig is going for his interview, and Reggie is almost by the finance minister there, and while we all standing at the back laughing at him. So yeah, we play pranks on one another. For example, there was a plank parade in Bangladesh, but I didn't play that. Now the prank was played on somebody, and he thought I played it, but I didn't. But because of my reputation, when I came into the changing room, now my bag's empty. And now I'm looking for my bats and gloves and helmet.
Everything is gone.
Everything is gone. And believe you and me, Yvonne, you know the bat tape? People have put my one bat onto the roof, stuck it with the tape, one in the shower, one in the bathroom, one in the smoke room, one in the toilet. I had to go to every single room to find my helmet, gloves, thigh pad, box, bats. And that was their prank on me, but I didn't. But anyway, so while you give some, you take some as well.
You remind me of a prank that was played on the team analyst by the ladies, where he lost his whole kit. Nothing was there, his laptops, everything, and people only realized how serious he was when he said, "I'm not going to the police." People are like, "Ooh, we need," because he thought his bag was stolen. But when you look at the team, we see you guys posting when you're in camp. We see you guys when you're playing. But what exactly do you guys do in camp when you're not training, when you're not playing? Because there's obviously a lot of time, especially when you go on tour. Yeah. There's like a long time where you guys are just in the same space.
So some of us are the touristy type, and I am not a touristy type. So some of us will come, shower, change, out. Me, shower, switch off. Then we'll decide, for example, myself, Craig, will decide a time, and we will have a coffee. Either we'll find out who does nice coffee. So we'll sit at the hotel, or we'll go outside. We'll take a walk to a coffee place and have coffees there and share our notes and how we're going to go on about things. Otherwise, we'll go to a cinema. Myself, Rage, Craig, we enjoy movies. So we'll go to the cinema, things like that. So, or we'll plan a dinner. All right, guys, today we're going to this restaurant. Feel like we got a good review, so we'll go there. So these are things we do. I'm not a touristy type, and I wouldn't go, I'm going to go and watch that building or that fountain show, but I'm not that. So I'll have a lot of peace and quiet time, gather my thoughts, what I'm going to do tomorrow, plan for tomorrow, whether it's a training day or a match day, and then switch off, have coffee, dinner, speak about life, journeys, things like that, and that's it.
We should hook you up with Gary Brandt. He likes to look at birds and he's a bird picture collector.
That's not happening.
So,
sorry, Gary, but I'm not that boring. That's not happening.
So, as we conclude, what would you want your legacy to be when finally it's time to say it's enough? with Zimbabwe Cricket. I'm not going to play anymore. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to remember Sikander Raza as?
More than a average cricketer, what I really want is somebody who was there to lead, or somebody who was there in difficult times for the team, or somebody who was there for the youngsters to show them the path. Most importantly, somebody who was a better human being than a cricketer.
Wow, better human being than a cricketer. That's the story of Sikander Raza. Hopefully today you learned one or two things about the man who's now playing for Zimbabwe. As he said, he chronicled his life from the time he grew up in Pakistan until he had the right to represent the country. And we're expecting Raza. Now we've got India, we've got Bangladesh coming, we've got Australia coming. We want the wickets. We want the runs.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining me on Conversations with Yvonne. And you don't know, maybe next time your favorite will also be on the show, because I know a lot of people wanted to also hear from Sikander Raza. We'll make sure that we continue to bring you the stars that are making the news in Zimbabwe.